Hey everyone, I'm Joel on the road, and today my UNESCO World Heritage journey is at Venice and the Lagoon in northern Italy. Venice was founded in the 5th century AD by local fishermen settling on these islands, looking for safety from barbarian tribes after the fall of Rome. And over the next 500 years, they built up a trading empire that covered most of the Mediterranean. To protect their trade routes, they built an enormous navy and became one of the world's preeminent naval powers. But all things must come to an end, and the Venetian Empire eventually collapsed, despite their immense power and their immense riches. These days, the city is still here, it's still incredibly beautiful, and it's very well preserved, so let's go and have a look around. Behind me is the Basilica San Marco, and it was constructed in the 11th century to house the relics of St. Mark, which were captured by Venetian traders from Alexandria. Now, it was originally the Doge's private chapel, but eventually, over time, it became the greatest cathedral in all of Venice. Behind me, you can see Palazzo Ducale, or the Duke's Palace, and for hundreds and hundreds of years, this was the center of political power in Venice. And despite being known as the Serene Doge, court politics was anything but serene. It was treacherous, duplicitous, and very, very intense. There's also a beautiful bridge just on the left-hand side over here, and it's the bridge out of the palace where prisoners were sent to be executed. Now, the red brick tower you can see behind me is La Campanile, and it was built in the early 10th century. And despite standing for almost 1,000 years, it collapsed in 1912. And incredibly, despite collapsing into St. Mark's Square, the most crowded part of Venice, the only casualty was a cat. Behind me, you can see the Church of Santa Maria della Salute, or St. Mary of Good Health. And it dates from 1630, and it was built to pray for good health after a devastating plague that killed 80,000 Venetians. Now, of course, one of the most distinguishing features about Venice is the canals. The city was originally built on 5 separate islands, which have long since disappeared. But the main canal, the Grand Canal, follows the course of the original river through the area. And of course, now that the water level has risen, the entire city is just full of these little canals, and the only way to get around, other than walking, is the ubiquitous gondolas. This is the Grand Canal, the heart of Venice, and it's just the most unique feature, I think, in any city, anywhere in the world. And that's really Venice, I think. It is probably the most unique city in the world. Where else is a city entirely car-free and dominated by water? I don't think there's anywhere quite like it. And I feel like after 2 days, we've barely even scratched the surface here. There's 118 islands in the whole lagoon, and we haven't even had a chance to look at the others. But unfortunately, we are going to have to leave it here. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Joel on the road, and I'll see you at the next World Heritage site.